having 5 years of experience in the field in the mental health. So I request Bhuvnesh, welcome to this CRE program, and over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Nirakar sir, for this wonderful introduction, and thank you, Giftables, for this opportunity. Like, can we just start sharing the slide?
Yeah, sure, I'm doing, Bhuvnesh.
Yeah. Am I audible? Like, is my voice clear?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, today my topic is going to be on interpersonal skills. Before we start, I would just like to know like your opinions on interpersonal skills. So, what do you understand by the term when we say interpersonal skills? You can just unmute yourself and you can tell me. Anybody from the participants can just unmute yourself and tell me, like, what do you understand by the term interpersonal skills? If you don't want to unmute, you can type in the chat at least.
Yeah. Nobody is answering. Please go slowly and explain and talk in English. Inform
Okay.
us.
To be putting it in a very simpler form, anything that involves a next person means like if you have you want to tell something to a next person or you want to do something with the next person, all the things whatever you do, we call it as interpersonal skills. So anything that involves another person is called as interpersonal skills. Yeah. Can you just change the slide? Yeah. Okay. So this is very important for children to understand how to socialize with others. Only if they are able to understand this, they would be able to talk with another person. This is like you're going to teach them how to talk to others or how to ask somebody help or anything. Anything that you're going to do with another person is called as interpersonal skills. So you're going to show them how they are going to relate themselves with another person. So another quote, just a small quote, like no man is an island. That is like you cannot remain all alone for your lifetime. At any point of your time, you need to talk to somebody, or you need to ask somebody for help, or you need to do something. You need to develop a relationship, a friendship, a family. Somewhere you need to talk, or you need to depend on another person. So to do that, you need to develop your interpersonal skills. So how we are going to talk with a child or how we are going to deal with the kids, that is going to give them an idea on how they are going to do it with others also.
Hi Kumar.
So it is very important in the way you're going to deal with the
Kumar
children.
Nirakar
Yeah,
here.
the next slide. So we will be now saying about the different types of interpersonal skills. Uh, can you change the slide? Yeah. So the first one is verbal communication. So all the words you use, if you use a word, then we call it as verbal communication. Yeah, it is very simple, but we got to teach the children on how to start a conversation and how to maintain a conversation. So it is very important because they can just come in and they can say give and they can go off. So that way there is no developing of rapport. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So you can stop me in between if you want me to explain something again, I would definitely do that. So we are going to teach them how to start a conversation and then how to maintain a conversation. So maintaining a conversation is like after saying hi, how are they going to talk for at least a minute and then how they are going to end it up also. It is not like I'm just talking to you and I'll just go off the meeting. So before we start, Nirakar sir gave me an introduction, then I said thanks, then we all started talking. So basically, it is like how we are going to maintain. So we got to teach that to children. The next slide, please. So once verbal communication is done, non-verbal communication. We all know what is non-verbal communication. Anything other than words, you do your actions, your expressions, your eye contact, or your body language, because this is something which adds about 90% of your communication. So it is very important to teach them every single part of the non-verbal communication. So can you, somebody, like, I'm just giving a high five to somebody. It's a non-verbal communication. A smile is going to be a non-verbal communication. So everything the child has to understand how to respond. Like I cannot like be angry, like looking angry at a person and talk softly, right? So the child has to understand how to regulate their expressions and also how to understand other person's expressions.
एक्सक्यूज मी
Or
सर.
yeah, ma'am.
मैं गीता गीता बोल रही हूँ सर. आप प्लीज इंग्लिश और हिंदी में दोनों में प्रेजेंटेशन करेंगे तो हम लोगों को अच्छा लगेगा सर.
Sorry, sir. In English only, no?
Ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm not okay. I'm not good in Hindi
He
actually.
want Hindi. Is it English
So
only, no?
It's
yeah,
okay
ma'am.
sir. Then it's
I
okay
can
sir.
I'll do it slowly, but if you want, I can give you examples.
Okay, you can give me examples sir. It's okay for me sir.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Uh, so
Thanks.
can we switch to the next slide?
Right.
So now we will see about different types of nonverbal communication.
Brand है food नहीं है.
The next slide, please. Yeah. So first, we are going to see about ways of talking. So example, I'm going to tell something to somebody. I can tell it in a different tone. Like um, I can say, "You're looking very beautiful." When I give a pressure or when I give a pass, I can mean a different thing. So example, I want to say, "You're not at all beautiful" or "You're ugly," but I can say it in a sarcastic way, where I say that you're very beautiful. Or I can change my pitch. So if I'm getting angry, I will start shouting. So
Complete कर दो.
the way of you're going to talk, what sound you're going to make, or how speed you're going to talk, or are you going to talk it very slow. So this is also a non-verbal communication, because when you see a person with depression or a person who is sad, they are going to talk in a very low voice. They are going to talk very slowly. So a child needs to understand what the pitch means also. Like if I talk in a high pitch, it can mean that I'm angry. Or if I talk in a very low pitch, it can mean I'm sad. Or if I'm very happy also, I can keep shouting. So that pitch also we are going to teach them. Then posture. Posture means like how a person is sitting or standing. Like if they are open, like their arms are very wide and like well body built, they might look very bold. But if a person is just sitting dull like this, the posture also you need to observe and teach the child what each different postures means. Like if a person is walking very slowly or the person is always leaning onto something, you might feel that the person is sad or the person is having some problem. So the posture is also very important. Then appearance. Appearance is we talk about how you uh, take care of yourself, like combing your hair, dressing properly, how do you present yourself? Like example, I have to come to school. Should I be neatly dressed? Should I wear jeans to school? So all those things will come under appearance. So how the person looks. Then head movements, nodding. Like example, if I nod like this, we can say, okay, I'm listening. But if I nod like this, I'm saying that I do not know. So different kinds of noddings also we are going to teach them. Then hand movements. Example, if I'm going to wave like this, what does that mean? Or if I say a high five, what does that mean? So if I'm going to give a shake and I have to give like this. So all these are different types of non-verbal communication which we will be teaching the kids. Then eye movements, like winking. Everybody like winks like one eye or the other eye. So what are the situations you can do that? What are the situations you're not supposed to do that? or what is the meaning of winking. So that is also you're supposed to teach them. Should I maintain a eye contact when I talk to somebody, or can I just look down and talk? So eye movements we will be teaching them. Then facial expressions. Should I smile, like smiling at somebody when I'm greeting, when I'm saying hi to somebody? Should I keep my face smiling, or should I keep it dull? All those things. Like we are going to see it in both the ways. We will first show the child what it is, then we will ask the child to do it. So when the child is dull also, we'll see your face is looking dull. So this is the facial expression. Even when I am sad, I will be doing the same thing. So in two ways we'll be teaching them. Then body contact. Body contact you can relate it in two ways, like where a person is touching. So if I want to say you did a good job, I can tap on the shoulder. So if the person is touching somewhere else, you should. It's like similar to good touch, bad touch. How the person is touching, where the boy should touch. If he's talking to his friend, can he touch on his shoulder or can he hold him? So the body touch. So body contact also we will be teaching the kids. Then closeness I will teach you separately in the next upcoming slide. Then sounds, laughing, crying. So all these are parts of non-verbal communication. So before I move on to the next closeness topic, any doubts in this or anything you want me to explain again? Okay. Now we will go to the next slide. Closeness, we use different terms.
Change it.
Can you please change the slide?
Yeah, I change it, sir.
Uh, can you go to the next slide?
I change it, sir. Not. Yeah. Change.
The previous slide. Before. You're going forward. Before. One more slide before.
Good.
Okay. So personal space, we call it as proximity or closeness or anything. So on looking at these pictures, please unmute yourself and try to tell me the first two women, what kind of relationship do you think they'll be having? Are they friends? Are they just met? Or they're close? Like looking at the pictures, can you tell me what kind of relationship each of them is having?
Anybody? Anything? Not telling me.
What happened? Stop. Go on.
He is asking
Uh,
questions.
Please unmute yourself and give a try of what the picture means. Like how are the persons related to each other? So example, first two women can be friends. So the second picture, what do you think the relationship will be between those two persons?
ಒಬ್ಬರು ಕೂಡ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ.
Boss and candidate.
Okay, good. The third one?
Friends.
Giving a high five.
Okay. Giving a high
ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ತುಂಬ
High
five.
five.
We are friends. Yeah, good. The fourth one?
ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ 10 ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಟು 15
Shaking hands each other. They
They
are
are
meeting
friends
each
or
other.
they are
They are
meeting each other. Good.
friends.
Okay. The last one?
Sister or friends.
Okay, good. So how did you come across, means how did you make up your mind that just by looking at a picture, how did you understand that they are friends or they are sisters or they are boss and employee and all those things? Okay. The distance between them or their gestures, right? That is the way you were able to understand that. So this is what we call as personal space. So example, if I have to talk to my friend, what distance should I maintain? If I'm talking to my boss, what distance should I maintain? So this is called personal space, which we will be teaching the kid. So in school assemblies, we ask them to stand at a arm distance. So we mean to say that over there you should maintain a distance between each other. In classroom, we say you can sit next to another person. So everywhere we are going to talk about distances. So I will give you the description about it. Can you switch to the next slide?
ಅನ್ವಿಟ್ ಕರೋ
ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಸರ್?
तुम करो तुमने कैसे
Yeah. So This is just an approximate thing that a person has will be maintaining if the person is going to talk to somebody. So if it is within 0 to 20 inches, they may be couples or they may be parent and children, where they are hugging each other, they are holding hands and all those things. If they are maintaining a 1 to 3 feet, then it can be like friends and other families like cousins, other things, other people within the family, grandparents and all those things. If it was a casual thing, like in a office, in a colleague you're going to meet in your school, then usually 3 to 10 feet we maintain it. If it was more than 4 feet, then it is for strangers, because if we do not know a person, we always try to keep our personal space. We always move away when they try to come closer. And if I'm going to give a talk, like if this was a live talk where you all are sitting, so usually it will be more than 12 feet. So this is just an idea for you, so that when we are dealing with the kids, we'll be teaching them what kind of space they have to maintain when they are talking to each other. So if they are friends, they can hold hands or they can sit closely. But if they are going to talk to you, it's like sometimes we used to lift the kid and make them to sit on the lap. So all those things might confuse them about the personal space. So whenever you're dealing with a kid, try to avoid taking the kid to your lap or making them to sit on you, because over there you're a therapist or you're a staff. So try to teach them the personal space like that also. What distance they have to maintain when they're talking to you. So only then they will be able to generalize it. Because we all think they are very cute and subby, we all lift them, but they will have a confusion that over here also they're lifting me, at home also they're lifting me. So the generalizing will be a problem for them. They will not know how what distance to maintain with a stranger. They might think they go hug them also. So it is better that we start teaching them when you're handling kids. So personal space is one important concept where you will be working on. Yeah. The next slide, please. Yeah. Then first we saw verbal, then we saw non-verbal. Now we are going to see about listening skills. You can all say right now, like you're all listening to this. No, you're not listening. You're hearing, because you might be multitasking or you might be doing some other work and just hearing it out. It just comes like this. It just goes out like this. So we have to make a habit. We got to work if we want to develop listening skills. So you got to sit before a person and look at them and try to understand what they're exactly saying. Don't say to me also, I can understand what they're saying. No, you will miss the important concept of it. So looking at them and giving them time is called as listening skills. So active listening is something we need to practice, which can be developed. So when we are going to teach this to a kid, so how we are going to teach them is, you're going to first teach them about eye contact, how to maintain eye contact. Once they start maintaining, we always say, right, look at my eyes. Keep your yeah, keep your instructions very short. Do not give them long instructions, so that they will be able to listen quickly, because kids try to run around or they try to get distracted easily. So keep your instruction very precise, like throw the throw it in the basket or bring the stool. Just keep it very short and give feedbacks every time they do it. So if the child brings the stool, then you say, yeah, good, you listened and you bought the stool. So they are going to do it more and more. You're just encouraging it, reinforcing it by giving feedbacks. So listening skills is very important. This is the way we will be understanding a person's verbal and non-verbal messages. So example, when I'm cutting vegetables and somebody is talking, the person might express sadness in his posture, like he can be dull and all those things, but his words will be good. We might miss out all those things. So listening means you got to focus on the person and you got to understand both verbal and non-verbal. Yeah. The next slide, please. Can you change the slide? Yeah. Negotiation. So it is very important. It is not bargaining, but it is like you have to give and also take. So example, you have only one sharpener between two children. How they are going to settle it? It is not like you coming and saying, you take first and then you take second. So we are going to try to teach them to do it by themselves, where they are going to settle the differences. Example, they have a chocolate, they want to break it into half. Something, one side became big, one side is small. So how they are going to compromise over there? Uh, so we are going to give them scenarios where they are going to practice it. So example, like you want to play them and you give them sand play, or you allow them to play in the playground. There is only one slide. So you're going to ask, give a chance to them so that they can decide on themselves. Okay, you go first, then I will go, or I will go first, then you can go. So you're going to give them scenarios to practice. Can somebody give me an example of a scenario? Just give it a try. It is totally fine, even if it is, because over here we are all learning. So just give it a try. Can somebody try? A very simple scenario you can try, like what color? Like you're saying that you got to wear red color. The child is saying I want to wear green color. So how the thing is going to get settled? So even that can be done as a scenario where you use it as an activity also. Yeah. Okay. Can we switch to the next slide? Then we saw about negotiating. Then is problem solving. Problem solving is very important concepts as they are dealing with younger children and as they are going to grow up in their life. So you got to use your logical skills, your creative skills to understand what is the problem, then search for different solutions, and then you got to select which is best. So problem solving, these are the steps that is going to be involved. First, you got to identify the problem, search for the solutions, and then select which is going to be best. But when it comes to kids, you're going to help them to understand it. So give them time whenever they're coming across a problem. Like example, while writing, they made a mistake. Instead of just saying, take the eraser and rub it, give them time to understand or identify the problem over there. He wants to correct it. Then ask him what the child wants to do. Does the child wants to cut, or the child wants to erase it, or the child wants to tear the paper and write it again? So you give them, you ask them questions so that they will come up with different solutions. Once they come out with the solutions, allow them to do it. So a child can cut it and write it. Then the child, if the child thinks, okay, this is not looking good, then the child might try to erase it. Or if the child says, I want to tear the paper, okay. Once they tear, if they're going to write it again, now you can ask a feedback, which is a good solution which you come up with. One, you're going to keep the paper dirty by scratching it. Second, you're just going to erase it and you're going to write it again. Nothing is going to be seen. If you're going to tear the paper, you're going to write everything again. So you are giving them, asking them questions so that they identify what is the problem over there. Then you ask them their solutions and you allow them to do it. Then you give feedback. Ask their feedback also. Did it work? Did not work? And then you can give your feedback. Yeah. The next slide, please. Now, decision making. Problem solving, we saw it is decision making is similar, but here the child has to choose. So we start with very small, simple things. Then we go into complex life choices. Like simple things can be like what dress I want to wear or what book I want to read. Whatever it is are going to be simple choices. If it is going to be life choices, it is going to be like, should I, as we are going to deal with adults also, should I join this school or should I join this college? Should I take this course? Or should I fall in a relationship? Should I say an S or should I say no? So all those things are called life choices. So here, decision making involves making choices in your life. So first thing, always ask them questions so that they can understand the concept more. So if I'm going to say, like, example, you want to wear a red color dress and you want to wear, you have a yellow color dress. So I'm going to ask, which is a new dress? The person might say, okay, yellow is a new dress, but I still want to wear red. Okay, what makes you to attract to red more? So the person say, this is my favorite color. Then keep on asking questions to understand their answers. Then let them choose the color. Once they decide it, let them carry it out, because they will get the feeling of accountability. That is, like, I decided to do this. I took the decision and I did this. They will not say that Papa chose the color for me or Mama chose the book for me. I chose it and I'm going to read it. So you're going to teach them accountability over here. So always start with simpler tasks and you can grade it up. You can start it within your therapy setting or your school setting, where you can ask them, like, right now, do you want to read first or write first? So the child is going to, basically, you want the child to do both, but you're going to give them a choice. So they are going to decide, okay, I'm going to read first. So once you ask them, why do you want to start with reading? So the child might say, I like reading more. Okay, now they have decided, you tell them. So now you have decided, now you start reading. So they are going to do it, and they are going to be accountable for their choices too. So decision making, you can use this technique to improve it. So can you switch to the next slide? Yeah, the last one today we will be talking is assertiveness. Okay, before we jump into the topic, I want you to ask. I'm going to ask you a general question. Like, example, you're all standing in a queue. Somebody is cutting and coming forward. Like, they just pushed you and they went forward. What will you do?
புரியல.
Can somebody unmute and talk?
Yeah, we'll try to ask them the question like in a assertive way, like, sir, why you cross the line?
ஒரு ரெண்டு
We are
நிமிஷம் அந்த
standing in a
செக்ஷனில்
queue.
இருக்கேன், நான் முடிச்சுட்டு நான் உங்களை கூப்பிட்றேன்.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, thank you, sir.
So how many times, ma'am, just like, don't think I'm talking with you, but just like, how many times have you really asked them? Or how many times have you remained silent?
Actually, maximum time we feel like to stay quiet only because, yeah, and sometimes people used to act aggressive way, but that is not the way. We should be assertive, but that is not possible all the time, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is what we are going to talk to them. Yeah. As she rightly said, sometimes, most of the time, you remain quiet. A person stamping your leg, you will just ignore it. You will not do anything. Or a person crossing the line, you might shout at them, creating a whole scene over there. So that is not going to help you, because both the ways, if you're going to keep quiet also, you're going to keep on thinking about it, and it is going to cause a headache for you. Even though the scenario is over, like, example, in a bus somebody stamped you, even after going home, when you remain silent, you're just going to keep on thinking about it. I didn't talk there, I should have spoken there, I should have told him that is wrong, or he should have at least asked me a sorry. So all these thoughts keeps running in your head. So passiveness is also going to affect you. Aggressiveness, like as you said, like, you shout at them or you create a scene over there, the whole public is watching you. Even that is not going to give you happiness, because you're going to feel like people are going to ask, why do you want to behave so rude to them? Or you might itself feel like, did I act too much over here? So that is not also going to help you out. So that is in between the concept, we call it as assertiveness. That is, you are going to stand for your own rights without disturbing others' rights. Or in other words, express your needs. Like, example, like when I'm talking to a friend, he is asking my bike. So I cannot say no to him, but I don't want to give the bike to him. So how am I going to put it across, so that he is also not going to feel bad? I'm also not going to feel bad, because if I give the bike, I'm just going to keep on telling myself, I should not have given the bike. I should not have given the bike. Or if I'm going to just say, no, I can give you the bike, then the friendship is going to be cut over there. So how am I going to put it across? So that concept is called as assertiveness. So over here, usually we do modeling. Modeling is, we will ask the child to sit and we will act before the child. We will give them different scenarios. We will show them what is passive. We will show them what is aggressive and assertive, how we are going to handle it out. So example, you're waiting, like, you're waiting for a friend, the person comes late every time, so you're not telling them anything. It is happening very frequently, even for 1 month. So you're remaining so silent, you're going to feel like this guy always takes advantage of me, or you're going to feel bad, or you're going to feel sad. So that is also going to spoil the relationship between your friends, right? Or aggressive way, you're going to tell them, see, I'm waiting for you every day and you're doing this. So let's stop meeting. So that is going also going to disturb the relationship. So in an assertive way, you will be saying that I can understand that you're busy with your works, and even I have some important works. So next time, try to be on time, or we can schedule it whenever you're free. Over here, you have, and sitting over here is going to make me feel angered because so many people are watching me and I am just waiting. Over here, you have expressed your need, but you have not disturbed him. You have told it coolly that I'm waiting for you because of this. Even my work is stopped, and you're also coming late, so it is causing a problem over here. So this is called as assertiveness. The next slide, please. Over here, this is an example. I'm not going to read this slide. I want you to all to just read it once. So passive a person, what kind of things they are going to do. Like example, if your boss is shouting, what will you do? Like we'll keep it in a normal school scenario. When your teacher asks a question, what do? Everybody does not, we will not look at the teacher. Like right now when I ask somebody, can you talk? You all just went into mute. So it's a kind of a passive behavior. Or if your videos were on, you would have not looked at the screen because you think that if I look at the screen, I'm going to ask you a question. So lack of eye contact, they might be looking down, they will not be expressing their feelings, they will be avoiding the problem. So all these are passive behaviors. Aggressive is like I'll keep on, like I'll make my eyes big and I'll be rolling it so that the other person is getting scared, or I'm going to point the finger. You did a mistake. It was your mistake. Or being angry, shouting at others, or being very rude. You're selfish. You're not good for anything. All these are aggressive behaviors. So assertive is like you will maintain a eye contact whenever it is needed. You will express your needs in a very calm voice, not like every time calm, as ma'am said. You can raise your voice, but in a very good way that you do not make the person feel bad about the situation. So if it was your colleague working and they are not looking at a case properly, just going to shout at them is not going to help you out. That is going to spoil your relationship. Instead of that, you can put a word saying that uh, the kids are waiting for you. So can you go? Please continue the therapy. Something like that. In a normal tone, where the person also will feel okay. They have requested me, I'll go start working with the kid. Your goal is achieved over there.
ओके
Yeah.
मिलते हैं 1 मिनट क्या कर सकते हैं ऑप्शन
So
क्या
these
होता
are the skills that are needed within the interpersonal skills. So all these skills we will be developing it
है
for the
फर्स्ट
children.
है
Any doubts with this? I will end my presentation. Any doubts or anything you want me to repeat again?
के लिए थे जी तो क्या कर सकते हैं
Can you play the first slide, please? Before this,
क्या क्या क्या
first one. Yes, ma'am. The next slide. Yeah.
ऐसा क्या तो फिर क्या कर सकते हैं अविनेश आज आसान होने फील हो रहा है ना 300 हो जाएगा
Ma'am, you want me to repeat the first slide or?
और
Ma'am, your voice is not audible. Can you be a little loud, ma'am? Yeah, now.
क्या
Yes, ma'am.
देखा मैं देखा देखा तो फिर अभी क्या करना सेकंड ऑप्शन क्या हम अपना खुद स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं वहाँ
Okay. Thank you all. For I hope you understood things. With this, I'll end my presentations. Thank you. The last slide, yeah. This is very important. The day you plant a seed, you cannot eat the fruit. So, as soon as you start something, you cannot find an improvement in a child. You need to do it step by step. So, interpersonal skills, it's going to start in early childhood and it is going to develop till adulthood. So, let's keep planting the seeds and waiting for the fruit. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhuvan. Very good. Great wonderful.
So, please to grow yourself in job, see to how you show yourself or how you communicate with others. D is to resolve your problems or to overcome your problems. So the correct answer for that is C, because this is the way how I'm going to show myself outside to another person. The way I'm going to talk or the way I'm going to communicate, my gestures, my posture. So the correct answer is C. Then second question, what is the best way to handle a conflict in life? So fight, being aggressive means I'm going to fight to solve a problem. Being passive means I'm not going to tell anything about the problem, I'm just going to keep silent. See, assertive, I'm going to express my how I feel, and I'm going to allow the other person also to express how they feel and resolve it. D, I'll just stop talking with others. So the correct answer is C, being assertive. Then the third question, while listening, huh, when you're listening, what you're supposed to do. A, I tend to be distracted by going, like example, I'm talking to somebody, some noise is coming at the background, or I'll be just watching TV and hearing the other person talk to me, or I'm going to listen for the meaning and ask questions to understand more. C, I'm going to listen intensively and I do not ask questions. Like I'm just going to nod my head for everything and I'm just going to sit quiet. I'm not going to do anything. D, I will keep on putting my head like this and keep on doing other things. So the correct answer is B. I'm going to listen and I'm going to ask questions. That means I'm going to understand the meaning and I'm going to ask more questions so that they will feel comfortable and they will also understand I'm listening. The correct answer is B.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. While talking, you should make an eye contact, or B, just only when it is possible. C, never make an eye contact. D, I'm just going to keep stare at the other person. That is, I'm just going to keep on looking at their eyes. So, which is the correct answer? Anybody wants to try?
Make eye contact.
Make eye contact.
Yeah. So, the correct answer is A, make eye contact. The last one, while talking with a colleague or another person, I'm going to stand 1 foot away from the person. I'm going to stand 2 or 3 feet away from the person. I'm going to stand 5 to 6 feet, or I'm going to stand 3 to 4 feet away from the person. Anybody wants to try?
1 foot.
Okay. When we are talking with the co-workers, it is usually D, 3 to 4 feet. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, all of you. If any doubts regarding
Thank you,
these
sir.
questions,
So I kindly request, oh yeah,
Last one question, sir.
Yes, ma'am. The answer is D, ma'am.
yeah, thank you, sir. So I kindly request all the participants to turn on their camera so that we can take one screenshot or picture for official record.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone.
thank you, everyone.
So today our session has been finished. So tomorrow again we'll meet at 9:30. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you, all of you. Please, tomorrow, please join 9:30, second day.
Okay, sir. I will, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, all of you. Bye.
Hello.
Yes, madam.
Hello.
Yes, yes, madam.
Hushan sir. Hushan sir. I'm Gita sir.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me.
Hello. Sir, session 2 ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ಸರ್?
No, ma'am. It's done. ಆಗಿದೆ. ನೀವು ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಗ್ರೂಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಮೇಡಮ್?
ನಾನು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆನ್ ಇದೀನಿ ಸರ್.
ಗ್ರೂಪಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವು? ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಗ್ರೂಪಲ್ಲಿ?
ಅದು ಇದು ಬಂದಿದೆ ಸರ್, ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದು ಇದು ಬಂದಿದೆ ಸರ್, ಇನ್ನು ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ನು ಬಂದಿದೆ ಸರ್ ಲಿಂಕ್.
ಹಾಂ.
ಬಟ್ ನೀವು ಇದು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಸಿಪೇಟ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಸೊ 2 ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಗ್ರೂಪಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿಂಕ್ ಅವಾಗೆ ಅವಾಗೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ನೀವು ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ.
ಹೌದಾ ಸರ್?
ಹಾಂ ಮೇಡಮ್.
ಸರ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಶೇರ್ ದಟ್ ಪಿಪಿಟಿ, ದಟ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಟು ಪಿಪಿಟಿ ಸರ್?
ಶೋರ್ ಶೋರ್, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಸೆಂಡ್.
ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಓಕೆ ಮೇಡಮ್. Thank you, all of you.
Should I do, sir?
Yeah, yeah, sir. Please join
Okay, sir.
tomorrow at 9:30, please.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, bye. फोटो लिए सर.